What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to yet another live stream, of course, back again Sunday, 7 p.m. as we go through the Newport game yesterday, of course, losing 1-0, and then going to talk about the Crawley game coming up on Tuesday. Going to preview that, give our predictions and lineups at the end, etc. Talk about everyone's form. But yeah, if you're watching on the replay, do leave your predictions down in the comments after the video has finished. Of course, smash the like if you do enjoy it. As always, appreciate all the support. Of course, if you're watching live, get in the comments. Let us know your thoughts on everything as well. And of course, I've got a new code as well for FanHub. If you want to join, feel free. It'll be scrolling down at the bottom. And if you want to donate to the Sleep Where You Stand, I'm going to be doing, probably most of you have already seen it. I'm doing it on Instagram and Twitter. But if anyone wants to donate, all the money's going to Bristol Rovers Community Trust and Caring in Bristol, which is a homeless charity. So, and I'll be doing it the night before Crawley. So, yeah, it's going to be very, no, not Crawley, Carlisle, sorry. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting. But yeah, as always, joined by Benji and Neil. How you guys both doing?
Pretty good, mate.
Good, yeah, all good here, mate.
So yeah, let's get into it. Of course, Rovers losing yesterday away to Newport. Of course, only our second loss in 14 after the Oldham game. But I mean, it was interesting because obviously, I'll get the lineup on screen now. I forgot to actually change that. But yeah, getting your thoughts, Neil, first. What did you make of it? Because the lineup, because there was only one change from Tuesday's 1-0 win. And of course, Whelan played again. But yeah, the only change was, of course, Collins coming in for Leon Clark. But yeah, what did you make of it when you seen the lineups come out? Because for me, I wasn't that confident. I was wondering where was Finley and Coots, of course. But yeah, what did you make of it?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it, to be honest. It just screamed of what it played out to be. Really, it was just really unbalanced. Like I've said it before. Putting Evans in there doesn't do anything for us. And I know you can get away with it when you go to sides at the bottom half on the bottom half of the table where you think, do you know what, I'm just going to go and outgun you and overrun you. But you've got to be a little bit more measured when you go to these sides in the top seven. You can't just go, I'm going to play all my attacking players in the same formation, in the same system, and just look to go player for player and outgun them, because they're a savvy side, and ultimately it was exactly what it was. It was an unbalanced side, and to top it off, it was a tired performance as well. It wasn't a bad performance, like it wasn't an Oldham performance where they were just miles off it as far as having a bad attitude, and they just thought they was going to breeze it. They just looked a bit tired. Newport were miles sharper than us. Their patterns were clearer because they had a balanced side that knew exactly how to work through the lines. And I said to you, as soon as they went 1-0 up, which was more or less coming without them creating a lot of chances, they were creeping towards 30, 40 yards from goal pretty comfortably.
Yeah.
So we've got it all to do now. They're just gonna do exactly what we should do when we go 1-0 up. What good sides do. They'll bed in. The fullbacks won't be desperately adventurous. They'll say, come and get at us, come and beat us. And over the course of, we got, like I said, we got what we deserved, really. We got exactly what we deserved. But yeah, it didn't sit well with me at 2 o'clock when I saw it come out. The first 20 minutes showed exactly what was to come.
Yeah.
And it got weirder for me. I mean, we conceded, and then like 5 minutes after that, he's decided to push Evans into that pocket to leave Whelan even more exposed, to basically say, right, we've got to go and get an equaliser now. And it got even more unbalanced. The only time we looked relatively balanced in that game, as far as being comfortable and having some sort of good framework and structure, was when the double substitution got made, when Nolan and Finley came on, which is this kind of double screen we should have to start with for me. It just screamed of a side that looked like what we should do when we go and play like these weaker sides at the sort of bottom half of the table, where you can say, do you know what, I'm gonna put one screen in there, and just let us play in their half. I just think that's naive going into a side that's in the top 7 and playing well. We should be more measured, and that's exactly what Newport were. They were measured. They played a double screen. They played it well. We didn't get any real success. They went 1-0 up, and they got even tighter and even more narrow. They played it bang right, Newport. They played it bang right against us.
Yeah. I completely agree. I'll get on to more of my thoughts in a minute. But yeah, going with you, Benji, what did you make of it? Of course, even to everyone as well, Tom and Gordo in the comments, keep getting your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Of course, I didn't do a match reaction yesterday. I was quite busy in the evening. So let us know all your thoughts in the comments. Appreciate the support as always. But yeah, Benji, what did you, first of all, like I said to Neil, what did you make of the lineup when it come out? Only making one change, Collins coming in for Leon Clark and then leaving it the same as Tuesday night.
Not a fan. Much like Neil, I don't agree with playing Evans in the hole. If you had to play either of Evans or Anderson Elliot Anderson, that is, sorry, in the hole, it's going to be Elliot Anderson. And the reason being is that he looks to get on the ball. And so he would do that role much better. Evans is the one that you get the ball to up the pitch to pick the pass. But I couldn't believe that we didn't start Finley. So I wondered whether he wasn't wasn't 100% or maybe still suffering some hangover from the illness or something like that. So I couldn't believe he wasn't on there. Bit strange not starting Coots only because he's the captain and he shouldn't stay out of the side for too long. But Wheeler did deserve to keep his place after his performance on the Tuesday night game against Barrow. Yeah, not necessarily a fan of it. It's trying to fit in too many attacking players. I think he'll have to do that again on Tuesday night particularly with Harry Anderson if Connor Taylor doesn't make it through. But no, I wasn't a huge fan of it. Again, Nicholson looks like he could do with a rest, and hopefully he kind of comes in. If he does get that rest, then hopefully he can come into some kind of form, just like after Harry Anderson when he had his rest, and he's been great since. So we will get changes, with some enforced, some non-enforced as well. So I'm just looking forward to seeing a less tired performance. Hopefully we can get some good rest in the legs and go again on Tuesday. Yeah,
absolutely. Even into Kai as well. Yeah. When Finley and Noonan come on, we look more threatening, but we lacked a stat where we are too scared to shoot. Shot on target, and yeah, I was behind you. Yeah, I know. I heard you. You was kept singing, Crawley and One Rovers vlogs and all that. It was. Yeah, my fault. It was interesting. Like I said to you, I wasn't a fan of it. I don't know why we wouldn't play in our strongest team. If Coots and Finley aren't fit or properly fit, then why are they on the bench anyway? Like you both said as well, and everyone in the comments, it only got better when we brought Nolan on. I thought he done well, and Finley as well coming on, but it was really, really strange. I was just bemused with the lineup. I don't know why. Like Neil said, it was weird because we started off with Whelan and Evans basically sitting. And then Elliot Anderson more forward, then obviously the wingers, etc. But after when they scored, which is what I think, the 30-odd minute around that, then we put Evans back up. And like you said, Neil said, you basically left Whelan on his own. And even before that, we were getting outrun in midfield. They knew how to play against us. They were pressing us like mad and we couldn't deal with it. And then when we did get the ball, like everyone said, everyone on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, there was just no urgency. For me, it was strange that the fact it didn't look like anyone played together before. It was a really weird performance. And then, of course, second half it did get better, but even then we were just sloppy the whole game. We did look tired, but still, we should be sort of turning up in a big game, but we didn't have anything really. No one at all, apart from Belshaw, kept us in it second half with some really good saves. And we didn't really create. I think we only created 2 really good chances. The first one being Nicholson in the first half. Looks even worse, really. I've seen someone put a video on Twitter of it. Should have just tucked it under the keeper, but tried chipping him. And then Luca Hall, really good effort from him. Quality save. I don't know how he kept it out. But yeah, it was just a really, really strange game and performance from us. Like everyone said, just looked lackluster. And basically, and like me and Neil talked about the game, we're not getting these good results against the tougher teams. We've only beaten Sutton at home and Northampton at home, 2 teams in the top 7. and the rest we've either drew against or we've lost against. But even into Foxy George as well, saying, "Can someone tell me what's up with Leon Clark?" I don't know. Like, I even said it when he played. He probably start Tuesday and then won't be in the team again. I don't know why. Bertie Tom saying really cool and start Kieran Phillips. I mean, there's too much pressure on him really, but it was weird because we just kept, even when we started, we were just long balling it. We didn't get it on the floor and play it round. There wasn't much movement in the midfield and from the wingers really. There ain't really much good stuff to talk about anyone really, and Harry Anderson had a poor game. His touches all game was poor. Sammy was poor. And then in the midfield, obviously, it's going pretty bad when Evans comes off, and I can't really fault it. He wasn't playing well at all, but no one was really. Tom saying Sammy can't put it under the keeper if it's bounced. I mean, to be fair, he's both footed. I don't think he has. He is. I've seen him score with his left and right. I think he's both footed. But for me, he should have done better with the type of player he is, and with the game being that we didn't have many chances. He should be doing better because that was only, apart from Nick Anderson having a shot on target, which says everything in the first half. We didn't do nothing at all. But big up Chris as well. Appreciate you tuning in. Keep smashing the like button as well if you're enjoying it. Keep getting your comments. But I want to go back to you again, Neil. Why do you think it was just? I know we look tired, but why do you think we didn't play that well? Like, do you think it was because he changed it and didn't have the main double pivot that we have with Finley and Coots? Why do you think it went pretty wrong? Because we were pretty poor all game, weren't we?
I think, yeah, we look tired. Like Saturday, Tuesdays are difficult. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're winning every week, they are great to roll into. Don't get me wrong, but eventually your body will tell you what's what. And when you're playing these sides in, down amongst the bottom half of the table, you can get away with doing what Barton's done of late. Of we'll chuck an extra attacking player in there just to cause them a problem, play in their half. I just think he miscalculated it completely. I mean, You don't have to win a game in 20 minutes. Like, for me, I don't know the reasons. Like, it's just guesswork. I don't know why the reasons the bench was what it was. Why Coots didn't start. Why Finley didn't start, and all the rest of it. I mean, for me, like I've said before, you play them two in front of that normal back four. We're sound, and then it's up to your attacking players to go and do the responsibilities on your attacking players to go and do what they do. Then after that. But the lineup didn't sit right for me. It was an unbalanced side and it was an unbalanced performance. And you know what, you might be able to get away with that. Like I said, against the bottom half side, I bet Newport's eyes lit up when they saw that at 2:00. They thought, we can get right after these today because this isn't regular for him. You need continuity to keep rolling into. And like I said, I don't know why the bench was what it was, why Coots and Finley didn't start, etc. But for me, we didn't give ourselves the best opportunity to win that game from the start, to be honest, the way we set up and our approach to it of basically we're going to go straight after Newport early doors and try and get off, because they just I mean, it was Bennett and Kane just sat in there, took it and moved it as quickly as can and turned us round, and then before you knew it they was on top of Whelan and they was exposed, and that's pretty much what they did until we made the double sub of having Finley and Nolan in there. It was more about personnel for me. If we're having a tired performance, we can still probably dig in and get something from that game with the right personnel being structured and being solid and open. You can get a moment out of your attacking players, but I just don't think we give ourselves a chance from the start the way we set up.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was just so frustrating. I don't know why you wouldn't. If Coots and Finley are fit enough to be on the bench, why not start them in a very big game, against a very good side? I don't know. I just find it so weird why he went why Barton went like that. I'm not going to give him too much stick because a lot of the stuff he's done, of course, in the past few months we've been good, but in the big games you just need to play your strongest team, and if they're not fit enough to play, because that's 2 games in a row, Coots has been on the bench and not even played, so I don't get that. But Yeah, Shay, even into Shay Wivy as well. Appreciate you tuning in, saying Nick Anderson is underrated. Brucey Tom saying, think Elliot Anderson was poor, need to start Evans and Cam with Finney and Coots behind him. Yeah, exactly what we said as well. Shay Wivy saying as well, play Evans, Cam, Elliot Anderson left, and Finley Coots DM. Even into one as well. Appreciate you tuning in. Hello guys, UTG. But yeah, it was just weird. I mean, your thoughts, Benji. I don't know how much of the game you've seen or etc. But why do you sort of agree with Neil? Because of we didn't have our strongest team and didn't have the double pivot on. Why we got so exposed? Because every time we lost the ball, they were through and they were going at us.
Yeah, there are a multitude of factors that we lost the game because of, but I actually think we lost the game because we were poor rather than Newport being great. Don't get me wrong, they were efficient, but I think we got the stuffing knocked out of us a little bit when they scored. The game ebbed and flowed a bit until then, but they were just kind of effective in what they did, and they played balls into the channel, nice neat reverse passes as well. And it just absorbed our pressure quite well. I just think we weren't at the races, and there was also an unbalanced team as well. So, like we said, having Elliot and Anthony Evans in that CDM slot is just not the one. If you're going to put anyone in there, it's going to be Elliot Anderson because he gets on the ball. But definitely a really unbalanced side. I don't think anyone was really at the races. I actually think that Elliot Anderson did have really good flashes, but that's more of his quality in terms of the game. So a few times where he turned people or just picked a great pass. But nobody really had a great game apart from Belshaw. And the most frustrating thing for me is that Barton will go in that dressing room and think we missed an opportunity there because Newport weren't amazing. They were efficient and good at what they did, but we lost the game because we were poor. And on another day, with a stronger side, with a lot more energy and less fatigue in their legs, we could have beaten them.
Yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, basically everyone's saying it as well. Everyone's agreeing. No good cramming players. And yeah, I said that on the when we done the lineups, on the actual Newport preview, saying you just because, I mean, to be fair, Newcastle probably said something, even because Eddie Howe came out and said, the other day that Elliot Anderson should be playing should be playing Championship, I think he said. And when you've got all these players, it was fine before that. Before Elliot Anderson come in, we were playing basically our strongest team with the two, sitters like we've been doing. They control games and get into them. But yeah, like you both have said, and like basically everyone's saying, it was just, I don't get that, especially in such a big game. The magnitude, and if we'd have won, we'd have gone ahead of them. But again, it's another team in the playoffs where we haven't played well and haven't got the result we were looking for, really. But yeah, Tom, of course, saying no good cramming players in. Shea Webby saying Nolan, yeah, he did. I thought he looked very good when he come on, to be honest. Yeah, hopefully see more of him. Like you said, he's good on the ball, very good on the ball. He wants the ball. And yeah, I think the more he plays and gets back to fitness, the more, and of course, the more of the quality we'll see as well. Even into Dave as well. Obviously, good seeing you in the chat again. Of course, was on the coach yesterday. But yeah, Coots plays every big game and he's a leader. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, very strange. I mean, obviously, we can see it why he didn't play Barrow, because we were resting all these players for the next game, and then when I had a feeling as well when the lineups come out, and you've seen Finley and Coots, and to be fair, what Whelan did, I thought he done well, but you can't expose him and just play him. Especially when we went down the goal and then just put everyone forward. Brucey Tom saying odds on Loft never scoring a goal for us. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I'll get your thoughts again there. What did you make of Loft, and why do you think it looked, especially in the attack? Why do you think it looked so unbalanced? Well, even obviously majority of the team looked unbalanced, but even going forward, we didn't really create nothing, did we? None of the attacking players, and we didn't get any service to Collins whatsoever as well.
The system's fine. It was unbalanced because you got the wrong personnel in the wrong areas. That's all it was. But the head scratcher is you've got the personnel available to you with, Coots, Finley, Nolan. You can sit in there with Whelan if you want to play him to add that layer of protection before you spring an attack with the attacking flair that we've got. I just don't think we give ourselves a chance to win that game. I just think it was naive on, I mean, I like Barton. I think he makes good decisions a lot of the time, but I just think just because you watch them in training every day and you go, do you know what? They're on fire. They're moving it. They're silky. They're doing everything right. I mean, what do you think Newport are doing in training? They're doing exactly the same thing. Do you know what I mean? But I just think they were far more measured to approach a game against what would be deemed a challenger to their sort of, top 7 than what we were. We set up basically to try and go and blitz Newport early doors. And Newport were far more measured in the sense that, do you know what? We'll have a look at it. We'll be nice and narrow and solid, and then we'll see where we go from there. And they've scored a great goal. Like, it was a great strike, but it's come from being able to play between the lines. If we have a decent double screen, I don't think it even gets to that point. But as soon as you go 1-0 down against a side that are like in and around that top 7, they're not going to keep playing the way they have done. They're going to go, right, lovely, full back, stay tight. We'll go nice and narrow. You got to come and beat us. And to say like, if anyone wants to say, Newport weren't that great, they were as great as they had to be. Once they scored, shut up shop. They don't have to be anything other than bang basic and do the fundamentals well and get out of there with a 1-0 win. And I don't think that just goes for Newport. That's anyone in that top 7. Like if we say we go to Northampton and do the same thing, exactly the same thing will happen. If we go 1-0 down against one of these sides, which are in that top 7 area, sort of, they'll change completely how they play once they go 1-0 up, and they'll just say, "You've got it all to do now."
Yeah.
Just naive. It's naive.
Yeah, I agree. It's just very, very frustrating. And yeah, like you said, we just didn't have anything to give really. BRC Thompson, our their keeper. Yeah, great save. You didn't have much to do, but yeah, what a save. I thought it was in. That's what I mean. When you're creating like chances, and it was only really we looked like scoring or tried to look like scoring in the last 5 minutes. Really, there wasn't just. It was just so. Yeah, it was such a weird performance. But I mean, Benji as well. I want to get your thoughts. What did you make of a Loft coming on and just everything, going forward again? I think it's just that very frustrating thing, wasn't it? It was just unbalanced. But yeah, what did you make of Loft and how he looks going forward?
Loft frustrates me, but also other people's opinion of Loft frustrates me. I'm not saying he's been great. I think he's had one good cameo against Stevenage, but you can tell what he could bring to the team. And I said, I think last week to you that he runs backwards and joins defence quite a lot, and he's a big physical presence. What else frustrated me as well was Barton said, we brought Loft on because we needed a number 9 because we were chasing a goal, and it's like, what if you bring someone on for a goal? You will bring someone on who's actually scored a goal. And I just don't. He doesn't look like a properly natural striker to me. I do think that given time, Barton could work some magic on him, and I do think he has some really good qualities. But he's just yet to string it together in a really good performance in a Rovers shirt for me. I think changes are going to be good for this team, and I think going forward for Tuesday night, definitely take Evans out of the CDM slots and play him further forward, but also. Don't start Loft. Use him. You need to use him in some of those physical games, and I was really surprised he didn't start Barrow because I thought that'd be the perfect game for him. Anything which is physical, or we need some extra height and play Loft, fine, as long as it's not against like the top teams at the moment until he starts to get in some good form. But for me, Collins has got to start up top now. But he is our striker. He's made it his own. It's really impressive how he's learned that number 9 position, and now he's just not just doing it well, but doing it really well and scoring a lot of goals. We need changes, and I'm really excited to see a few changes. I don't think you can change too much, but you certainly need some moving around and getting the square pegs out of round holes.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's definitely going to be very interesting. Of course, we'll get into the lineups and everything in a bit, but yeah, obviously getting on to Crawley now, it's going to be an interesting one because the teams that they're usually not meant to beat, they've done pretty well. They've had Harrogate away in the last few weeks. They won 3-1. Of course, Forest Green as well. They beat last week. But then they drew on the weekend just gone 0-0 home to Scunthorpe. So it's a very weird team, and how they played. But of course, the last game we did play against them. Again, it was quite early on in the season. I thought me personally, I thought we were very poor against them. We were lucky to win. And of course, I think that was when we first seen Leon Clark as well, because of course he come off the bench, got the winner, a very good header. But, getting on to you, Neil, what did you make of that game? Like I said, we know it was early on and we weren't at our best, but we did get the win. We kept a clean sheet. But yeah, what did you make of the performance, and what can you remember the last time we played Crawley and how they're going to set up, sort of thing?
And pretty much like Newport, where we was always disjointed. We never knew what was going to start as far as a team, how he was going to set up personnel. We didn't play great, to be honest, and we sort of rode our luck through a lot of it. They had a good few chances, really. They probably come off of that being hard done by getting beat. But Yems probably scratched his head at the end, going, "I don't know how we didn't get anything from it, let alone win it." Because I mean, they had balls were flashing across the box, all sorts, really. I can't remember Rovers doing too much other than the Clark header, to be honest. And I think, from what I can remember, Clark he come on at half time, didn't he?
Because
we were getting no success. We were having no success, and there was no focal point to anything. He came on. I think maybe it might have been Anderson put the ball in, or someone put the ball in. He's nodded it back across goal. It's a textbook header. It's a great header. It's gone in. But after that, we pretty much held on because we didn't. It was back at a time where we weren't really opening sides up. We weren't desperately great as far as being in the final third and creating chances. We sort of nicked a 1-0 from what I can really remember of it.
Yeah. It was a weird game, like you said. It was back, when we weren't, like you said, weren't really breaking teams down, weren't really causing teams problems. But of course, like you said, it was a great header from Leon Clark. I think it might have been. I think it was either Harry Anderson, Spence, or Evans. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it was of course a great header. But yeah, like you said, I remember Nichols missing. I think he missed 2 sitters. Tom Nichols. And
sounds familiar.
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be interesting. Of course, they've got like I said, a few ex-Rovers players, including Sam Matthews is there, and of course Tony Craig, who I remember he had a very, very good game as well. Whenever we tried, and that was the sort of game we wouldn't really pass it on the floor either. We were trying to hoofball it to, I think it was Collins at the time up front on his own, if I can remember. And yeah, in the air, Craig was absolutely amazing. As we know, he was very good at Rovers, but still now it's going to be an interesting game because they've got a very experienced, especially the centre backs. They've brought in Joel Lynch since he's played in the past for QPR, Huddersfield in the Championship, was at Sunderland last season. So it's sort of a team that we need to sort of add our attack into it and to sort of turn them around, do what Newport basically were doing to us on the weekend, because they haven't got much pace at the back. But we really do need to get in behind. So it might be, I know he probably won't do it, and we'll get into lineups, but it might be that sort of thing where you sort of maybe play a Saunders up front with Collins, or maybe put Saunders on the wing and really get into them and turn them around, what Newport did as well. Yeah, David pointing out as well, like Newport, of course, this will be Crawley's 5th home game on the trot, and yeah, it was the same with Newport. But yeah, like we said, it's going to be an interesting one. We get into the last, like we pointed out, some of their last results as well. Like I said, drew 0-0 with Scunny, drew 2-2 with Oldham on the Tuesday before, beat Forest Green, lost 1-0 against Hartlepool at home, and won 3-1 away to Harrogate. So they're, like I said, they're a very weird team. Picked up some good results, but then, to be fair, they were all over Scunthorpe on the weekend, but they just couldn't score. I think Scunny's keeper was in inspired form, but of course, getting them, we know with our results, of course, lost to Newport, beat Barrow 1-0, drew of Exeter, beat Orient and beat Stevenage. So hopefully the few away games before, against the likes of Orient and Stevenage, it can hopefully get back to sort of the same, because like we said, it was nowhere near the Rovers we watched over the sort of the past few weeks and the past few away games as well. But it was never going to be against Newport. They're a very good side. They know what they're doing. They press us. But getting into league tables, Rovers 9th in the league, played 34, won 14, drew 9, lost 11 on 51. But Crawley, they're only 6 points off us, and they've got a game in hand. And, like we talked about on the last preview stream on Wednesday, that Crawley were actually only 5 or 6 points off us from being, the most points in 2022. So they've done well. They're a team that, of course, don't have the biggest of budgets, work on very, very minuscule, deadlines and everything within the squad, and when it comes to wage structure, etc. And they've got a very good manager. And the other thing is as well, he's actually got, like Mark Cooper with Barrow, John Yems, as probably most of you know from his mad, after his games interviews, he's actually got a touchline ban as well. He's got 1 game left on it, so he won't be in again. Like Mark Cooper, he won't be there. So, but like I said, they're only 6 points off us with a game in hand. But it's going to be a tough game, like every team and every game left in our last 12 games. It is going to be very tough. Nick Muller saying the New Moon pub near the ground. Yeah, I mean I think because I know they've got a bar in their stadium, but I think it's about a 10-15 minute walk for anyone that's going. Of course, me and Neil are going as well. If we lose, season's over for us. Saying Tom as well. Ed Jacobs' fault on Ryan Loft being the worst signing in our history. I mean, we've seen a lot. If you've been a Rovers fan for depending on how long you've been going, we've seen there's been a lot more worse signings. You only look at Max Zima, for God's sake.
Or Stefan Payne.
Yeah, or Stefan Payne. Yeah. It was always going to be an interesting one with, especially, of course, he was at Scunny doing very poor pretty much every week, not much. But yeah, hopefully we can see him, like we've talked about on recent weeks, we probably see the better of him next season, of course. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. And yeah, but I mean, getting your thoughts, Benji, on the last time you played against Crawley, I don't know if you've seen it, but what do you sort of make of Crawley as a side? I don't know how much you've seen of them, but based on, of course, the last game against us and a few of their results, and as a side, what's your thoughts on Crawley this season?
Well, I think they're a bit like us in that they've actually changed tactics, and it's almost like a role reversal, I think, because we've gone from playing 3 at the back to 4 at the back, and they've gone from 4 to 5. That's only just on looking at their lineup for the Scunny game. The last game, I think we were pretty poor and we were really lucky to win it. What a header from Leon Clark. But like you say, Nichols could have bagged. They've got a strong defence now. They've brought more in, like Lynch, like you say. Interestingly, they look to be better away from home than they are at home as well. So I wonder what that counts for. But they're a bit of a crazy team. They're in mid-table obscurity, but they'll get an amazing result like beating Forest Green, but then they'll just fail to score against the basement club of the EFL. So you don't really quite know what Crawley's going to turn up, but Rovers have got to hope it's a bad one. But even if the best version of Crawley turns up, we're going to have to play a lot better than we did on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like one of those games where, a lot of people will say, it's only Crawley, but like you said, they usually do. They're a very, very weird team. Like you said, they'll beat Forest Green at home, and then go and draw to Scunny. Like I said, they've had some good results. They've got quite an experienced squad, really. Not many youngsters, a lot of experience, so they know how to play. And like you said, I didn't actually realise that they've changed formation to a 5, and most of the time. Now go on. What was you going to say?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. No, I was just going to say as well, I don't really think you can draw too much from the Crawley game earlier in the season at home.
Yeah.
Like I say, completely different sides, and we were a shambles there, square pegs and round holes. I was just looking at the lineups then. We had Alfie Kilgore, Connor Taylor, and Kian Harris in the back 3. We were playing 3-4-2-1 as well, and a system that never fit us as well. And obviously, we've got some pretty decent form Saturday aside at the moment. Crawley is so up and down as well, but it'll be a completely different match on their ground as well. But we know we'll have to win the physical battle against them for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Kai saying as well, I wouldn't want to put my money on who's going down. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because even, if we looked at, Carlisle away coming up soon, and, they looked shocking a few weeks ago, but now they've got a new manager in, 3 wins on the bounce, a big win for them. And it's going to be very interesting, that battle. And even, Colchester as well, a very good win for them yesterday. I think they haven't won in 7 before yesterday, and Port Vale were unbeaten in 9. And they go and beat Port Vale. I think it was 1-0. So, it's going to be a very, very interesting, looking at both ends of the table, looking at the relegation battle and, of course, the playoffs, especially with a lot of the teams around the top 7 being, inconsistent. But, of course, especially with us as well, you're looking at, the next 3 for us, really, if we want to get playoffs, we have to be getting 9 points. With Crawley away, Harrogate at home, and Colchester at home in our next 3, we need to be getting maximum points from every one of them, because after that it's Northampton, and then we got the likes of Salford, Port Vale, Carlisle away. Like I said, their form's got a lot better on
Mm.
recent weeks. So it is going to be very interesting. But it's weird though. You look at, that's how sort of under par we sort of been this season, when you look at Crawley, and they seem to they can be a team. Again, they don't usually get battered. If they do lose, they lose by the odd goal, and they can grind out a result. So we need to go there. Completely different, it's obviously a completely different game, with Newport, but it's still going to be difficult, I think. But of course, keep getting your thoughts in the comments. Do hit the like button if you haven't already. Do subscribe if you're new as well. I've seen a few new faces in, and keep up the amazing support on the channel. But we're getting into our lineups now as well. Of course, nearly 40 minutes in as well. We go with Neil first. I don't know how much you thought about this, but what would you do for Tuesday? Because this is probably for me one of the most interesting it's going to be, because after Saturday's game, I can see anything happening, especially with Taylor, of course, going off at half time yesterday. I'm not sure. I actually haven't watched Barton's interview after yesterday, so I don't know what he said about various injuries and stuff. But do you think it's going to be an interesting one for Tuesday? What would you go for? How many put in, etc.?
Oh, I don't know what Joey's going to do, to be honest, as far as personnel, or how he's going to attack it and play. He could stick to his guns and Tuesday go again to just go all out early doors to try and blitz him. But for me, you go back to basics and fundamentals of what got us success in the first place, which is what I consider to be our most balanced side and best attacking threat of playing 2 inverted wingers with a double screen in the same back 4, which is going to be Belly in goal, Taylor and Connolly, Hall at right back, Anderton at left back, Finley and Coots is a double screen, Evans in front of them, Nicholson left, Harry Anderson right, Collins through the middle. And that's what you start with, is a base, is a solid foundation of a base. And then you've got the likes of, Nolan can come on and do anything in that screen. You've got Harvey Saunders that can turn again. You've got Loft if you want to go long. All your attacking threats can be there ready and waiting to change that game as and when you need to. But we need to go back to what we've done to the start of the best way of working that football, of moving it and grinding sides down and pulling them all over the pitch and getting them running and moving and working hard to create an opening, and then utilize your bench to just enhance that even more come the hour or 70 minutes. And that's where I think we can blow sides away. Like if we're winning or 1-0 or we're 0-0, you can really turn the screw then with the bench we've got. That's how I'd approach it, but that's how I'd approach most games of Rovers. I just think what we've seen of us when we play with that set framework and foundation of keeping the ball retention, moving it, dragging sides all over the pitch, and be patient with what you're trying to do. Don't force the ball into areas you don't need to early. Just be patient and work it until the opening comes. And then if it's not working brilliantly, stick to your guns, stick to your principles, keep doing it, but just change the personnel to just turn that screw a little bit more, rather than deviating away from getting out your fullbacks and bombing it down the line and going and joining in. I just think we need to go back to what got us success with the players that made it happen. I mean, for me, Finlay has to play because he needs to get booked. For me, you'd send him out there to get booked second half, even if he isn't, because you want him for you definitely want him for Northampton. 2 home games at the Mem on a Saturday, Tuesday. Just get yourself prepped for Northampton away. I'd send him out there, and if he's not booked in the first half, I'd send him out in the second half and just go and leave some on someone to pick one up. Right, we know what we're at now. You rest up for 2 games and you're back ready for Northampton away.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's an interesting one for me, really. I to be fair, I was expecting a few more changes, but you've pretty much kept it the same. Of course, everyone in the comments, let us know. I think there's going to be a few different opinions on this, but please let us know in the comments. Get your starting 11 for what you would pick against Crawley. We know Barton could do whatever, but please let us know. It'd be good to see different opinions, because I think there is. I think a lot of people would make changes. But yeah, even into Jack's Ford, as always, big up to you. Appreciate you tuning in. All right, lads, you are UTG. Got a Newport fan as well, loving it. Marcus as well, big up to you. Even if you are a Newport fan, good luck for the rest of the season. And I certainly don't want to, if we do get in the playoffs, fingers crossed, I certainly don't want to play Newport. That's for certain. Ed as well saying, Evans deserves to be dropped, in my opinion, offers so much less in the deeper role he's currently playing in. Get Finlay back. Yeah, that's what I mean. I would, if you're not going to play him Cam, I don't want to see him playing. I'd rather see him on the bench. Me personally, you could play him on the wing or whatever, but he's wasted because he hasn't got pace. I know we've seen the creativity. You've got to look at his goal and assist, but especially recent performances, he's looked terrible. Even against Barrow, we said, and a lot of people said, take away the goal. I know it won us the game, but take away the goal, and he was pretty poor, really. But yeah, Marcus saying cheers, and you. Yeah, no worries. Appreciate you tuning in. Start Joe Holbrook. But yeah, Benji, getting on to you. But yeah, like I said, everyone, get your predictions down. It'd be great to see everyone's starting 11s. Of course, we'll get on to score predictions in a minute. But yeah, Benji, what have you gone for? I'm guessing you've got a few changes from Saturday's game.
Yeah, well guessed. I think some of it depends around how much Barton wants to ring the changes, because he said obviously there will be changes, and also some of it depends also on whether Taylor is fit or not. Funny feeling he might not play, just because I don't think Bristol Post have released their every word Barton said thing yet, because that usually tells you about injuries, or they do a separate article on it. But he did, in the post-match thing, they did say that Barton said that his foot was strapped up, which isn't a good sign. So, and he also said that you have to be careful with him. We already know we've got to manage one of the illnesses he's got. So, might come too soon for him on Tuesday. It's not. Is it worth risking him against Crawley when we've got the remainder of the season? I'm not sure. I don't think we can really predict what Barton's going to do. He does have a bit of a left field selection, and I've actually gone with not a left field one, but quite a different one. And so, if I think Taylor starts, and obviously Anderson starts at left back if Connor Taylor is fit, but if Taylor isn't fit for it, I'm going obviously Belly and goal, Hall, Connolly, Anderton, and Trevor Clark at left back. I like Clark at left back. I think it depends whether or not he's going to be fit enough to play 90 minutes. Possibly not, but then you've got Harry Anderson who can play that role as well. Harry Anderson I've actually left on the bench in this so far, although he could be quite good against Crawley with his pace. Coots and Finlay, absolute no-brainer there. And then I've gone with Elliot Anderson, Anthony Evans, and Aaron Collins as the 3 in behind Harvey Saunders. And the reason I've gone for Harvey Saunders is he can send a signal to the rest of the team because of his work rate and his work ethic. Yeah, that's it. And so he's just such a willing runner, and he'll set the tone at the top, press them, harry them. And I think he's a better option than Loft, whilst Loft isn't very well refined in terms of his finishing ability. He leaves his body on the line, and I think in some kind of battle like we'll have against Crawley, I think it'll be perfect. So I just want him to set the tone, and I'll say to him. Also, Barton knows him; he trusts him to go on and do a job. So we'll just say to him, "Go and do a job, run yourself regular like you always do." Sorry, and the others will follow suit. There's a few other interesting reasons behind that as well. As I think it's time for Nicholson to have his rest, like I said earlier. He could have had such a better season, but the fact that he's still got 6 goals and 5 assists, whilst we all think he hasn't been playing fantastic, shows that he still had a decent season. But the fact is, he could have had an awful lot more. So freshen him up, get him ready for Saturday. And we've also got the likes of Loftus, Liam Clark, Nolan, and Harry Anderson on the bench, among others as well. So he'll do something different. I don't think he's going to do either of what I've said or what Neil said, because Barton just loves a left field thing. And if he wants to ring changes, nobody's got a clue. I mean, anyone who gets 11 out of 11 on FanHub will buy a beer next week.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. And of course, talking about FanHub and beers, you do get I think it's from now. You do get if you get 11 out of 11 on FanHub, you do get a free beer at pretty much most pubs, especially in Bristol. So yeah, if you still haven't joined, if you want to join FanHub, then like I said, I've got a new code at the bottom for 5 people if you want to join it. But I mean, that's an interesting one. To be fair, I was expecting a few, but so you've left Nicholson out, but then you've gone with, what was it, Evans, Collins, and Harry Anderson, the 3 behind.
No, I've got Elliot Anderson, Evans, and Collins as the 3 behind.
So what, Harry Anderson on the bench as well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I keep chopping and changing, and the problem is you've got so many good players. And the other reason that I've left him in is because Evans is going to get pissed off if you don't keep playing him. And obviously, we've got designs on keeping him for next season if we go up. So he's going to want to play him, and you can't really leave Elliot Anderson out. I don't know. I think someone in the comments said earlier that he didn't have a great game against Newport, and I don't think anyone had an amazing game. Belly did good, but Elliot Anderson's class was on display with some of his turns and stuff. And against a team like Crawley, that could be the real difference. And also, Evans played slightly poorly against Barrow, but that said, he didn't play poorly, but a lot of his ball winning was off, so he actually lost the ball quite a lot. But then he still made the decisive pass for the red card, and then he just pops up with a worldie like that. And so, is he a bench option? I don't know, but he just has the X factor as well. So it's a tough decision, and I'll change my mind a million times between now and Tuesday. But yeah, Elliot Anderson, Anthony Evans, and Aaron Collins. I just like Collins when he runs between the lines, and he does that better when he comes off the left. Yes, it's an interesting one though. I mean, I'll get into mine in a minute, but I really, really don't have a clue. I think Barton could go all out, just madness on Tuesday. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, keep do hit the like button if you haven't already. Can we get 30 likes on the live? That'd be appreciated. Keep smashing the support as always. Even to Simon as well, saying playing 38-year-old Whelan twice in a week when we had Feenley, Nolan, and Coots on the bench was madness. Yesterday was on Joey, I'm afraid, onto Crawley, up the gas. Even into Harry Quinn as well, saying Thomas for Nicholson on Tuesday. I mean, I think he could do that. Be interesting to see. Maybe, I know he hasn't done much, and he's definitely been, one of the sort of let down sort of players, if you will, Thomas. But because he wasn't even in the squad yesterday, was he? Him, Grant, Harry's were all, I think, in there bit watching the game. So I don't necessarily agree. I've seen comments saying that that he was one of the players that Barton got wrong. Obviously he didn't have a great first half of the season, but then I think in early January he actually had a really good spell. He played well against Peterborough United. He played really well against Scunthorpe, and we saw a lot more desire and effort from him. But the problem is you've got people like Nolan and match fit, and you've got people like Liam Clark back on the bench, and then you're always going to have one or two of Harry and Elliot Anderson, Evans, Collins, Nicholson on the bench as well. Like they're getting in ahead of him. But I actually did think about putting him in there. The reason I didn't put him in there is physicality. So he's got the work ethic and the aggression and tenacity. But I don't know if he's got the physicality of someone like an Elliot Anderson if he played out on the right. I'm sure Anthony Evans is probably better suited to the right than Elliot Anderson, they'll probably interchange. But I think you lose something defensively if you put Thomas on that side. You have the work rate and the work ethic, but I'm not quite sure if he works well with Luca Hall there. We haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I find it really tough, really, really tough. Keep getting your starting 11s in the comments. Let us know what you would do. I mean, of course, starting off with the easiest part, Belshaw in goal. Don't think we're going to see any change there. And then, interesting, of course, in defence, I would go Luca Hall at right back. If Taylor's not fit, then I agree with you. I'd go Anderton and Connolly, and then Trevor Clark at left back. Of course, if Taylor's fit, you play him, and then Anderton at left back. And this is where it gets interesting for me. I think, especially like you said, with Crawley playing 5 at the back, I really, really don't know what he's going to do. I really don't know. I got a feeling he might play 3 in midfield, as in like 3 flat. I don't know why, but I've got a feeling. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, let's just go 4-2-3-1, right? We go Collins up front, on the left, Harry Anderson, on the right. I don't know, man. It's tough. I really don't know, because, like you said, I think Sammy does need, because he's played a lot of minutes this season, and especially in the last few games, he hasn't even really been coming off. He's been playing 90 minutes every game, and that could be, a thing why he hasn't been playing the best. I mean, to be fair, he's still been playing well. It's just the last sort of decision before, a shot or a pass, etc. I'll just go with Luke Thomas. I'd start Luke Thomas on the right, Collins up front, and then Neil's faces are like, "What is he on? What is he doing?" But maybe give him, because I wouldn't play Saunders. I wouldn't play Saunders as a winger. But then we haven't got anyone else, have we? Apart from Luke Thomas, who can play on the wing. Who would you play if you're not going to play Sammy there and you've got Harry on the left? Then, I think just give Thomas, especially against Crawley, give Thomas a go, and then Evans in the cam, and then I've got a feeling, I reckon, because Finley is fitness. I want him to play, but I don't think Bottom will play Finley again. I think Finley will be on the bench, and I think he'll go with Nolan and Coots. To be honest, but we really don't know. That's why it's so hard, especially after Saturday's game. I don't really know, and I know Tom saying, and yeah, I've said it a lot, and Neil, you see Neil's face when I just brought up Thomas, but
I'll drive him back to Barnsley tomorrow, mate. I'll drive him there.
Yeah, but then who would you, if you're gonna rest Nicholson? Like who are you
gonna... I play Saunders there instead of Luke Thomas. You're playing with 10 men. Like I said, I drive him to Barnsley tomorrow. He's a passenger, mate.
Yes, it's just so tough for me. It's so tough. Even into Harrison as well. Appreciate you tuning in and saying UTG. Big up to Lewis. What happened with you, Lewis, yesterday as well, wasn't it? You had a bit of a naughty thing yesterday, or something happened, wasn't it? Leanne was spreading the rumors, but big up to you. Tom saying Thomas is so poor, shouldn't even be in the squad. It's just tough. I mean, I think you'll have to. Well, if Saunders was going to play, I'd play him on the left. I mean, yeah, let's just change it. Harry Anderson on the right, Saunders on the left, Collins up front. There you go. No Thomas. Maybe on the bench. I wonder
if he's going to drop Evans or just put him on the bench. He's not really dropping, and it's not. He doesn't believe in rotation. But I keep changing my mind, and I almost want to do like a complete new lineup. I wonder whether we might not start Evans because he has, despite him coming up with the goods and the qualities, but his full performance when taking over 90 minutes isn't as good as it could have been. Give him a cheeky little rest as well, and then just unleash them against Harrogate on the weekend. We've got he's got to get a result, and then if he gets a result on Tuesday night, then you go into 2 really winnable games in Harrogate and Colchester at home. And that period where we've got those 2 at home, we need to look to get 6 points out of that as well, because we're at home. And then those are the games which are not bonus games, but the games that we play against those in the top 7 in and around are the games where we're gonna make our progress. But we have to support that with a base, and that foundation has to be wins. And I just don't. When they've beaten Forest Green, but then at the same time they failed to score against Scunthorpe, I don't know. So his selection is so key. And can you leave Evans out? I don't know. I've changed my mind again.
Yes, that's what I mean. It hasn't been this tough for me in ages, but I just feel like he could, especially after. I know it's completely different, but especially after seeing what he done for the. I know it's different, and maybe Button has learned from making so many against Oldham, because like at Oldham, he made 5 changes, but it's going to be very, very interesting. I really don't know what he's going to do. I'll probably get like 5 out of 11 on FanHub, to be fair. Barton could do anything as well.
He'll start top or something stupid.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe chuck your cola up there. Get someone who can actually win a header.
Stick Shiniesta in goal.
why not, innit? He looks all right in goal, shouldn't he?
Yeah, he's tall enough to be a good keeper.
Yeah, Lewis saying, go fund me for my Newport ticket refund, please. BRC Tom saying, would rather play Abdoulaye Belbaghi out wide, instead of Thomas, yeah. Even into Robert Brailsford as well. Does Neil realise the price of petrol?
Put it down as a business expense, mate.
Tom saying, super lofty up top with Azra on the wing. That's what he did yesterday. Wasn't it? That was weird. That was weird. Collins is nowhere near a winger. That was weird. Very weird. Lewis Bailey, Neil drive loft back as well while you're at it. Yeah. What's your golden ticket code? It's at the bottom. You'll see it scrolling around. You'll see it. Just give it a few secs. You'll see it. Even into David as well. We've got to win Tuesday. Play your strongest side. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just you just don't know with Barton really. But yeah, keep smashing the like button. We'll get into score prediction in a minute. But yeah, there's the code now scrolling 1-6OV. So just use that. But yeah, we have got to win. You know, like we talked about with but even the games coming up, like Harrogate are again a really, really weird side because the way I've seen them, I know highlights and tell you everything, but they were all over Port Vale. They've got a very fast attacking team, Harrogate, and even Colchester. You've seen, you know, we drew at their place. I know it was absolute madness and we should have won, but every game is going to be tough because they're fighting for it. You know, there's so many teams that are fighting to stay up, etc. Camps at 9. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we will get into the score predictions now. Of course, the lineups are just mad, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens at what 7:15 or whatever it is. But yeah, keep smashing the like if you're enjoying. 26 if you're in. Can we get 30 likes if you haven't hit the like button and you are enjoying this live stream? But yeah, Neil, what are you saying for Crawley away? What's your score prediction?
I mean, if we set up the way I'd like a setup with a solid foundation and look to just impose ourselves on the game and then add your attacking players to it as time goes on, we should be beating Crawley. We should be beating Crawley if we get everything bang on as far as, I mean, they've got good players, you know, like I like Payne and I like what's the lad up front, Nadizan or whatever his name is. He's
Ashley Madison, yeah.
Doesn't get a lot of goals, but technically he's a good player. But we should if we've got any dreams of getting into top 7, these are sides that should be bread and butter. We should be beating these because others do. I'll go 1-0. We're due a clean sheet now. We've just gone one without, so we're due one. And I just don't. I know we blitz Stevenage and all the rest of it, but I just think our attacking players need to take some form of responsibility for how they're playing at the minute. Like, we get told how good these players are, and they are good players, you know. But they need to start performing properly by, you know, putting games to bed, because games can get away from us, and they need to be accountable for what they're doing up there. To be honest, like, they need to start weighing in with goals, and I'm not talking about Collins. I'm talking about, you know, Evans gets his fair share, but like Nicholson again could have made life so much easier for us. If that's a bread and butter finish for me. I know people will make excuses for him. There are no excuses. That is a chance that should be being put away. Harry Anderson should, you know, keep weighing in with them. Yeah, I just think our forward players need to be more accountable for the goal scoring side of things. But I'll go 1-0. 1-0 away
1-0.
on Tuesday night. Yeah, do me.
1-0 away win at Crawley on a Tuesday night. Fingers crossed. Got a comment from Simon as well, Bracey again, saying ridiculously unfair on Thomas from Neil. Mind you, he said he couldn't see much in Elliot Anderson on here, and he looked. But even then, Elliot Anderson, he hasn't. Apart from Stevenage, I don't think he's been okay. Like, you know, he moves the ball, but like we said,
he's had 2 outstanding games for me. After that, he's been fine. He's been okay, but you know. He's been fine. He's been okay. I'm not saying he's terrible. He's awful, but you know, he's not. He reminds me of a bit like when Ross Barkley went to Sheffield Wednesday early doors, you know, and he set the world right, but he kept doing it week on week. And he's done fine, Elliot Anderson, but you know,
yeah,
he's had two outstanding games. That's what he's had.
Yeah.
As far as Luke Thomas, your figures, you know, they say, oh, over the course of a season, what has he done? You know?
Yeah, not much. Both quality players for the level, just LT just low on confidence. I mean, to be fair though, he's been low on confidence. You could say that. You could say everything. He's got what 6 in the league this season. He got no goals, 6 assists by coming off the bench most of the time. But yeah, it's just an interesting one. I know everyone's got their opinions, and that's what it's all about, you know. But he just hasn't, from the player what we signed, Luke Thomas. I know he had struggled last season with different things, mental health and everything. But you know, and Barton's given him loads of chances as well. So, but you know, we'll see. You never know. Luke Thomas might be singing praises of him come the end of full time on Tuesday night. Who knows? Harrison saying Airport FC having a gas invasion. Robert Brailsford has gone with a 1-1 draw. Briercy Tom 5-0 statement win. I think Lewis could be agreeing to that, but for Crawley, Craig hat-trick. Needs to keep an eye on Craig. When Thomas scores Tuesday, he's going to look for Neil on the ground and shush him.
You can talk me through the rest of your season where you ain't done nothing.
Oh, that's class. Going to look for Neil in the ground and shush him. But it'd be great to get his first league goal. I mean, about time. Pre-season Messi. Yeah, exactly. That little Panenka against Oxford. That's all he's done, really. Let's be honest. If we're going to say it truthfully. But yeah, keep getting your predictions in. If you haven't already in the comments, smash a like. But Benji, what are you saying? Are you confident? You reckon we're going to score a few, or are you nervous for Tuesday?
I'm not nervous when you've got Luke Thomas on the side. Luke Thomas hat-trick incoming. Just from my side of the story on or the debate on that Luke Thomas situation, he's a confidence player. For me, if Luke Thomas gets confidence, there's no doubting there's a really good player in there. I think in the second half of the season, we did see a bit more fight, desire, resolve, tenacity from him. But I think he just needs to hit that hot streak. And when he's confident and he's got confidence and he's got some games under his belt, there's no doubt he's a good player. But at the moment, it's just hard for him to get in the team. I could play him. He was actually in my initial starting lineup. I think he is a good player. You're not a £1 million player for no reason. I just don't think he's going to get the run of games that he needs for us to really see that in a Rovers shirt. But I'm actually going to go 3-2 Rovers. I just don't think. I don't know what something makes me think both teams are going to score, and I think that Crawley could have a couple of goals in them. They'll be up for the fight. Tony Craig and Tom Nichols will be bang up for it. They all will. Rovers will score goals because we're going to have to win this one. We're away from home. I just think that we'll score goals, we'll outscore them, and we'll grab a late winner. I think, and I just think Crawley have got at least a goal or two in them. But we're just going to have to do a Liverpool of a few seasons ago and just outscore the opposition.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. 5-goal thriller. What Benji thinks. God, 5. That would be mad. It would be nice to see a lot of goals.
I should bet 10 on 3-2, shouldn't I?
Yeah, go on.
I was right with the next prediction as well. Where when Rovers asked for the score predictions, I put 0-0. That was 1-1. That was right. I was right about 0-0 at Mansfield as well. So maybe I should start betting on these and making some money.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. I mean, along with BRFC Tom's 5-0 win, he's gone for a Nolan brace. Why not? He looked class, mate. I got a feeling he's going to start, to be honest. I got a feeling he's going to start. He looked very good. And this is the game. If you want to get him minutes, this is the game to do it, really. He's confidence on the ball. He can turn. He can spread it. He can play it short. He's sort of like basically a younger version of Coots, but he can also go forward with the ball, Nolan, a lot. And, when he gets his fit, I think he'll be some player for us next season once he's fit. But yeah, Simon Bracey going with a 3-1 gas. Gas to kick off, 9 points from 9. Read it here first. Good vibes. Lewis Bailey, 1-0 Luke Thomas written all over it now. Yeah, it's got to be on it, surely.
I'll take
surely that. After that slander from Neil saying he'll drive him back to...
That'd be a pretty awkward conversation in the car between Neil and Luke Thomas when he's driving him back to Barnsley, wouldn't it? Behind the wall.
Oh, I really don't know what to give for mine, but yeah, basically Lewis Bailey scoring for Rovers because, basically, Luke Thomas is just a crap Lewis Bailey, isn't he, really? Same hair colour and all that. Juan is going for a 2-0 Rovers win, and we get near to playoff zone. Hopefully, we really do need to kick it off. But yeah, for me, I'm going to go with... I really don't know. I'm going to go with a 2-1. 2-1 Rovers win. I think it'll be tight. I think will be a bit of nerves, especially after Saturday's game, and obviously it really depends who start. But yeah, we'll see. Connolly drew a goal, scorpion kick. Yeah, I think it all depends on if Taylor's fit or not. Really. Juan saying, I said now, Charlie, if we get promoted this season, I will walk to Bristol just to kiss Joey. That'd be a nice picture, that would. Juan and Joey having a nice little kiss at the Mem. After Luke Thomas scores the goal to get us promoted as well. Even Neil might have a kiss off Luke Thomas. Longley United saying that tastes like promotion. Yeah, hopefully. Harry Quinn going with a 3-1 Rovers win. Collins, Evans and Harry Anderson to score. Yeah, fingers crossed. Just get the job done in it. I think it'd be a very nervy game to start off with, but it all depends how long it takes us to get the first goal. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to end it now. I've been going hour and 6 minutes. So yeah, appreciate everyone tuning in. As always, if you have just tuned in, please do hit the like button. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Like I said, appreciate everyone getting involved in the comments as always. Appreciate Neil and Benji coming on. Of course, me and Neil will be at the game. Me going on supporters coach yet again. Just hopefully, we get a really good result, to be honest. Yeah, yellows. Yeah, probably be yellows as well. Mark Wright, he don't even, if he still played for him, he probably would get a goal, Mark Wright, but he don't play for him anymore. He only had a little stint last season. But yeah, like I said, smash the like button, use the FanHub code if you haven't already. Like I said, if you haven't, or if you want to donate for the Rovers Community Trust and Karen in Bristol, go over on my Instagram, on my page, or on the pinned tweet on Twitter. Feel free to donate. I know some of you that's tuning in the chat now have donated, so appreciate that. But yeah, hopefully see you back on Tuesday for a win up the gas.